Hey, Doc Pete Chambers. I'm running for governor right now. I'd much rather be doing this every day, but we're in the battle for Texas, and Texas is worth it. You're worth it. March the 3rd, 2026, the day after Texas Independence Day. We'll just call that Texas Liberation Day. I'm out. Hey, Doc Chambers here. Driving across Texas this morning. Got in late last night. When they tell you something's impossible, one word: relentless. When they attack you, pundits hate you, called you every name in the book. Relentless. When you're fighting for freedom, relentless. You've got to be relentless. There is no other word that describes it better. In your faith, your walk, when that liar inside of you tells you you're not good enough, it's a liar. Relentless. Be relentless.
Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? Black hole sun.
Well, folks, it's time to get relentless. Be relentless, like Doc Pete Chambers says. Hey, I'm Ann Vandersteel. Thanks for stopping in Steel News this afternoon. We are live with Doc Pete Chambers joining us because Texas really is the last great frontier of American promise. But folks, I got to tell you, that promise doesn't survive the chaos because the chaos is everywhere right now. But it requires order. And there is a lawman who cometh, and he's going to restore that order because that order right now, frankly, is unraveling. I've reported live from this location, Colony Ridge. We've talked about it. In fact, many people have been talking about it since Operation Burning Edge really highlighted it back in the news in 2023. Doc Pete Chambers was with us in the air and on the ground, and he knows Colony Ridge is not a rumor. It's not a theory. It's a massive, sprawling settlement of illegal aliens the size of a major city. And it's largely unchecked and it's largely ignored. Why? Why is that? Could it be that Governor Abbott took $1.4 million that we reported about 3 years ago on this specific location? Where were the border walls? I mean, why weren't they stopping those illegals coming in? Governor Abbott had Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 he could have used and stood on, but no, he just kept waving them in because he was getting the money, and that's going to stop. We got to get law enforcement back in there. We need sweeps of law enforcement. There was no accountability from Austin, from the state capitol. Now you're looking at cities like Epic City, a massive, sprawling Islamic city that is backed by foreign entities has massive land plays, and it threatens to export this model statewide. In fact, we're seeing it happen nationwide. Florida, where I live, is under siege at the moment. You've got new cities with their own rules, their own courts, their own systems being built in Texas. Wait a minute, isn't Texas supposed to be the Republic of Texas? Texas wasn't built for these fiefdoms. It was built for law. Governor Abbott talks tough, doesn't do anything. So he's going to have a tough day coming here on March 3rd. I'm going to bring the guy in that's going to bring some law and order to the state of Texas and hopefully restore it to the Republic. Frankly, that's where it needs to be. That's where we as a country needs to be. And we need Texas to lead us maybe out of this dark place that we find ourselves in right now. So joining me right now is the indomitable and indefatigable Doc Pete Chambers. Doc, as always, great to see you. Thank you for being here today. And I know you just had a major win in the recovery of a victim who had been trafficked, apparently, or taken or stolen or whatever, but you found her. She was missing, and now she's safe in custody. Praise God.
Yeah, yeah. I did not personally find her. I was on the operations on the command and control side, but there's great law enforcement and men on the ground that did some hard work. It's part of the a combination between the Remnant Ministry TX and the Cajun Navy, United Cajun Navy. So we paired up and we had elements on the ground, and safely she's in the arms of the Medina County, Texas Sheriff's Office.
That's fantastic. Do you think that you are going to be, have the captors been brought in as well? Are they going to be brought to justice?
Oh, I believe so. We know who they are. We suspected up front. They tried to ward us off, but we knew there was just something about it that didn't smell right. It's still an ongoing investigation. So there's I'll leave that now to law enforcement. They're gonna have to do their job.
Good deal. All right. So you are, let's just run through your history. 39-year Green Beret flight surgeon, Texas National Guard, Army National Guard battalion commander, relieved of duty because you were providing informed consent about the terror of the vaccine after you were massively vaccine injured yourself by Moderna twice, damn near lost your life and brought yourself back through proper alternative healing modalities. Thank you, Jesus. But you're running for governor now, and you're still running operations. You're still kicking doors in. You've got teams all over the place. You've got a ministry. Talk to me about public service, because this seems like this is all you do.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We always run to the sound of the fire, if you will. And we were going to kick our campaign off on July the 4th. The floods in the Guadalupe Valley happened, and we diverted. I was going to be on a float that day. Could you imagine me riding down the road doing this? Hey, everybody, And but just like North Carolina, where you and I both linked up out there on that Hurricane Helene, this is an all hands moment. Same thing here. We're on the campaign trail. We kicked off just at the end of July and August, and we ended up moving out to around the state, really just in a pickup truck, and rolling down the road. Now we've got a bus, and we're doing that, so it allows me to do things like this and get out there and force multiply. But this is public service, right? I'm running for the senior public service. I'm not running for governor. It's too British for me. I want to abolish that name if I could, but I've got to get. We've got to, now we've got to mobilize the sovereignty-loving citizens of Texas to realize that this uniparty thing and all these other establishment things are not what is in the best interest of our Texas state constitution, which gives all political power inherent to the people. So
that's right.
That's the goal, and public service is the key. It's just to serve its heart. I mean, is a man of faith, and I believe that, and that's what I operate with. And, being the guy that's the worst of all sinners, like Paul said. But that's part of it. Is you continue to turn. So 39 years of active guard reserves. That's where I learned how to become a leader. I was a follower in a sense that I was an enlisted guy, but now I'm a leader, and I left that job, and here we are.
So you've thrown your hat in the ring, and like Florida, like Texas, it seems there's a lot of hats in the ring running in the race for governor. Ballotpedia has, just on the Republican side, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people running? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we're in the pole position of all the other ones behind Abbott, so we're not worried about splitting the ticket this time. Last time when we had Alan West in and Chad Prather and Don Huffines, they split. They were all three well-known people in Texas, and they split the ticket, and especially between Alan and Don. So that split the ticket so hard that they just really didn't stand a chance of doing it. Right now, we don't have that problem. I mean, it's not great people. I've met some of them. They're same kind of heart. But that's what this is all about, is giving people a choice. And so we've got to be the forcing function, and we are. There's no doubt. We knew that we were going to be, up against a Leviathan, if you will, a behemoth in a $40 to $80 million war chest. I never can get the answer right. Who's got the right amount of money Abbott has, but we're doing it with a small percentage of what he has, because in the periphery of Texas, we are winning. The straw polls in the periphery of Texas counties, that are rural, we're winning. Now there's a triangle in Texas. That's where the 90% of the GDP comes from, between Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. That's the populous areas, and Austin being the capital, as well as the most blue center in the state. There's a reason for that. It's just like DC. It's where the money comes from. It's where the money goes in. The focus there is the GDP. The focus right now is not the GDP. The focus is the sovereignty of Texas. Right? We like to have a good GDP, but we can't be taxed to death. The middle class can't be gone. We can't be migrated anymore, and have the culture and the way of life that we know to be a constitutional republic.
That's right. So looking at your issues, because Texas has got a lot going on. I mean, you guys, your economy, first of all, is one of the bell ringers for the rest of the country. And we can't afford to lose the Texas economy right now. But it seems at this point that Abbott has, from where I'm sitting, he's done everything he can to offshore everything and really just be part of the globalist problem. He's a sort of a puppet poster child for the World Economic Forum, as we have learned very unfortunately in our face through Operation Burning Edge, literally sitting in the room with the man, listening to him talking about how he was praising people for bulldozing farms to increase tax revenues in Rio Grande Valley. And that to me that doesn't sit well. If I'm a Texan, I'm going, wait a minute. Why do we want to offshore all of our produce and farming to the Mexicans and import it across the bridge on a daily basis? It doesn't sit well at all. And you've got real issues when it comes to the cattle. You've got issues with screwworm that are now encroaching. Obviously, TB status is very critical to the Texas, $18 billion a year cattle industry. Can't have that go sideways. So, talk to us about this fragility of the Texas economy right now, and what you plan to do to turn that around to protect Texans.
Yeah, well, under Greg Abbott, Texas has been for sale to the World Economic Forum, and and for citizens, it's for rent, right? So everybody, 40% of Texas rents or either an RV, or buys an RV, or rents an apartment. 40%. The middle class is taxed out. Land grabs all over the place. Eminent domain to build reservoirs of water to go to cities. AI data centers out west, 300-400 of them. The Ogallala Aquifer, the largest one in the country that goes all the way from Nebraska to Texas, will be dry in Texas by 2050, 2070 if we don't get ahead of that. We're outrunning our headlights, Ann. I mean, we're using the carrot of 8th, 9th largest GDP or economy in the world. Yet, and comparable to Russia. I mean, Abbott said it the other day on stage down there in Edinburgh, north of McAllen, and I was sitting in the audience when he said, "We have the same amount of power as Russia." I'm like, why are we comparing ourselves to Russia? This is Texas. Get your center of gravity right, Governor. So the center of gravity is people. It's not things. It's not GDPs. It's not infrastructure. We have to have those things, and we like that. But we can't remain, an example, 40th out of 50 on education in our school systems, and number 6 on property taxes, and keep the same citizenry in the middle class in a place where they feel like they have a hope, where they have a dream anymore. And so that's why people are angry. Look, he's losing it. All I'm doing is going to be a public servant. He's losing it. I'm just going around just saying, hey, this is Pete. Look up my name on the 3rd of March.
So let's talk about, comparing you to Abbott and what it is that you are doing that sets yourselves apart to define what a true public servant means. Because I don't think people understand that. They look at the governor, like you said, like British royalty, like bow down. Thank you, sir. May I have another? That's a bunch of BS, and you know it. They're there to serve. And I called the president my employee every day. He works for me, works for you, works for everybody. I don't work for him. And if he thinks that, we have a real problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. One of the largest counties down there by Houston, Montgomery County, on their recommendations as to how to vote, they actually said, said Greg Abbott and Pete Chambers. No, Greg Abbott or Pete Chambers, because they kind of sat the fence on that one. But there was a little asterisk by Greg Abbott, and it said experienced. And then by me, it was 2 asterisks, and it said true conservative. So I don't know, I mean, we either do one or the other personally, but if that could encapsulate it, there you go.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. You're not a politician.
No.
You're a man who wants to serve, and
Yeah.
you've been serving your entire life. So this is, in my humble estimation, the next iteration of how we can. And again, some people say the military is the only way. This country is so upside down right now. And I played a video from the Texas State Guard. You said coming soon. Tell me about that.
Right. So that's the probably my first plank, which would be an executive order day one. There was already a House bill 4914 that was put before Abbott's desk that he could have signed as an executive order. He didn't. It went to the House. It never made out of committee. The way the numbers work in Texas, the lower the number, the more importance it has, like House Bill 1, House Bill 2. This one's 4914. So it had no importance to it. So it didn't even touch anything. It never came up. And so, and this was a guy named Hoppers. He's a good dude. I met him once. Good guy. He authored it. And then I know Ammon Blair. He wrote a lot of the policy for it on the backside. Ammon Blair, a good man. And so, what that does is it builds the state guard, not the National Guard, the state guard, which belongs to Texas. Right? Belongs to Texas. Can't be by Title 32 moving to Title 10. Taken from us by the federal government, which I still believe all of our wars where you took guardsmen down range and undeclared wars was not really constitutional, but that's a whole nother story. But for now, we have to build our state guard because I don't know who's coming in after Trump. I don't know what the next one is. I don't know that I can trust that. And are we going to have another wide open border? It's pretty good right now, but I did, some time on Operation Lone Star, helped kick it off with 600 troops. We went to 10,000. And while we were down there, it was 12,000, 15,000 people a week coming across. And so that gets crazy. Even one 24-hour period, 48 hours, Del Rio, 17,000 Haitians showed up. And they all went into the interior. And Greg Abbott was proud because on his website, he says, hundreds of thousands of people, we bust them into the interior, right? And so that's aiding and abetting an invasion. That's like Michael Yon says, human osmotic pressure. That is the invasion. And in the seams and gaps of that chaos, came through guns, fentanyl, you name it. Fentanyl is chemical warfare, so that's terrorism. So by Article 4, Section 7 of the Texas Constitution, it's incumbent upon the governor to protect the state. If you don't, it's dereliction of duty. These are the things I've been saying since day one, never wanting to run for governor, just knowing that was what was right. But unfortunately, we have a governor that's derelict.
Unfortunately, you have a governor who's derelict because he was it seemed like such a positive, bright star, and he's turned into such the Death Star, the dark Death Star for Texas, which is just horrific. I want to talk about the issues that you're running on because this is your state, it's your constituents, and these are the things that matter to them. Clearly, you've just touched on the fact that the border has been secured under President Trump. It's a marked departure from what we had under the reign of terror from Joe Biden. Human trafficking, is that come down from from an inferno to a dull roar? Where are we with that?
No, it hasn't changed. Human trafficking is the commodity right now. It's just moving through different methods. I mean, they had to shift a little bit on their focus and bring them in different ways. We're looking at waterways and other things coming up through the Mississippi River and other ways that's happening. And so that is still happening without a doubt. Houston is the #1 city in this hemisphere for human trafficking, Houston. And so we are watching. I mean, gosh, the mission we just came off today could have potentially ended up in human trafficking, but luckily this girl was able to get away and hide in the woods, and so we were able to stop that particular one. But there's 30-something thousand unaccompanied minors that have been just missing, just off the list. I mean, I think it's more like 500,000, but that's me. But Tara Rodas talked about it. She testified about it, gave us names here in Texas. We went after a few and turned those over to law enforcement, and they found a few of them. But out of 119, 30-something kids were identified. Tom Homan's doing a good job. He's helping in the 80, maybe 100,000 range right now. But we've got to do better, right? When you hand these kids over to CPS, Child Protective Services, and you get them out of the hands of the NGOs, right? And when you put them in the hands of CPS is what's been happening, and lawfare and all these other things that are happening, and judges that are corrupt and taking kids away from parents on the unaccompanied. We've got to do better. And so when I went to DPS and said, way a while back when we were going after a different set of kids, hey, listen, we're going to be doing this, and where does it sit on the major crimes list in Texas? It wasn't even in the top 10. Now that's set by the governor. It's not the DPS's fault. That's set by the governor. He's the commander in chief of the 30th largest army in the world. I mean, yeah, in the world. That's what Texas would be. State Guard, Air Guard, National Guard, DPS, and Texas Rangers. So if that's the case, then you need to set your conditions for your people to have, here's the key, authorities. Abbott is the master of strongly worded letters without authorities. That's just the bottom line up front.
I love your bottom lines up front. And, again, when it comes to CPS, my foundation, and I work with Maureen Steele on, is very focused. And we have set mission over ego and combined our forces with a lot of incredible women. And today I just made another connection on the research side and with some tools that'll be they go hand in glove with President Trump's recent executive order on CPS and foster families. So I'm looking forward to presenting all this fairly soon, I believe, to the First Lady's office, which I think will help disseminate this nationwide because it's out of control. And human trafficking,
Well, yes.
CPS, they prey on each other. Doc, we'll talk offline about it because I think you would be very interested in this tool. Anyhow, property taxes. This is a subject near and dear to our hearts in Florida. Our governor is talking about it, abolishing all of it. You talk about abolishing property tax. I know that makes Texans happy.
Oh yeah, well, day one with that executive order, the part two of that state National Guard or State Guard is that any able-bodied man or woman that joins the State Guard in their family, they will pay zero property tax because it's a non-paying position, it's volunteer. But if they're serving the state, then why can't the state give them a break? Right. So we can do that. And I know we can. And we have a system that we're working on. I got five teams that are working on this task force to abolish property taxes. We are looking at what Florida's doing. We're looking at what in its infancy stages, what Oklahoma's doing. They're all trying to get to this end state. And the point is that nothing is going to be perfect, but you can't keep going up. Otherwise, Texas wouldn't be number 6. We've got one of the largest GDPs in the country, much less number 8 in the world. We've got to do better because when you build a $20 million football stadium at a high school, or a $40 million for that matter, up down there in Montgomery County, and you have a school bond that's upside down and nearly insolvent, you're not spending your money wisely, Texas. And so we've got to do a little bit better. We've got to look at the fraud, waste, and abuse, the DOGE side of the house. And then we also have to look at old laws that gave money to colleges now in Texas that have gone woke. Listen to this. This is amazing. The Permanent University Fund, PUF, in Texas, 15% of the revenue that comes out of public land in West Texas, revenue in crude oil, that's it, anybody's pumping it, 15% of those revenues go to those 2 major universities in Texas, University of Texas, Austin, and Texas A&M. They're one of the most egregious actors when it comes to F1 and H1B visa violations. And they're most egregious when it comes to DEI woke programs. So why would you continue to benefit them when I can benefit the school level, get down to the lower level, and abolish those school taxes? That helps it start decreasing the taxes. It's just common sense. I didn't have the playbook before on what Texas was doing, but now that some people have it, they're looking at it. Look, I'm not an economist, but I sure as hell can lead people, and they're doing it. So they're getting this system down to where we can actually do it and do it pretty quickly.
So you're looking at consumption tax, state tax, state sales tax, something like that. Okay, yeah.
That's something to buffer the system until we do it. Because if you do it, immediately, it literally throws the economy on its head. So you buffer it with that until you can start getting these audits done, and then you start eliminating that.
Right. Yeah. We're in the same pickle in Florida. We've got a pretty significant sales tax in Florida, and we have a great tourism tax, as does Texas. So like you said, you've got to doze your own state and see where the waste, fraud, and abuse is going, which I'm sure you probably think you're going to be probably even more shocked when you finally get
I guarantee you, because now that I'm starting to see it, Minnesota is going to be like the ice on the top of the ocean, and Texas is going to be, it's going to be tremendous. It's just so much more money and so many more backroom deals that happen in Texas. It's pretty dirty over there in Austin. I'm heading back towards Houston right now, but it's pretty dirty. So we know that. We knew it coming in. I'm drinking from a fire hose of information right now, and it is what it is. Like first year of medical school.
Well, you've done that, so you can do this too. So getting back to your issues, you're obviously taking a stand and defending us all. You have a real passion here. I know you touched on H-1B and foreign labor, but you have a passion for protecting the people. and you have a direct DPS to enforce the law and aggressively end non-constitutional demonstrations. I'm going to put this up on the screen here because I think it's important that folks understand that you're looking at exactly, the legal system in Texas, but when it comes to DPS, ICE coordination, and then I've got to dovetail this into the legal system of the state courts, because I think all the state courts and the federal courts are fairly corrupt. I don't think we have really that many good courts anywhere, or should I say judges anywhere. How do you plan to sort of roll that ball of wax together and attack the legislative or the legal problem, excuse me?
Right. Yeah. When you look at judges and the way they're doing it now, Greg Abbott came out with something recently. He's going to have somebody that he's going to appoint, right? And he came out of the Supreme Court system. He's a 25-year, I don't know, whatever, how many year politician. He's, started out with Supreme Court, went to AG, always lawyer positions that he's taking. And so he's got quite a network. I've seen it firsthand. I worked for him during the COVID mission and knew, how the Texas system works. And the judges really have a lot of power in the counties, a lot. And really it should be the sheriff. So that's the way I look at it. The sheriff has the most, I would say that they are at the top of the food chain when it comes to the county level, especially when it comes to emergencies. But what I've seen with the system that they have is it's once again, it's a good old boy network, just like the Secretary of State in Texas when it comes to election integrity, right? She's not closing the ballots. She's allowing other attorneys to come in and actually sue back and forth between the state of Texas to keep the ballots open, to not allow hand count paper ballots. That's important. We got to look at that. And then as we know, to stop the machines that have man in the middle attacks. So there are multiple things when you do appointees like that, and there's some cronyism there, and there is. Most of the Texas State Medical Board has given tens of thousands of dollars to Abbott and campaign. Look, if you're gonna put money, you're gonna donate to me, you won't get a job if you donate anything more than $18.36, because that's what the year Texas was born. But if you because there's a conflict of interest with those things, and so they're never going to go with what the people want. They're going to go with what the guy in power wants. He's got a fiefdom going on. I mean, he's an emperor right now, and he's going for an unprecedented fourth term. Nobody's done that in Texas, and there's a reason for it. You got 11 years of inaction, and it's got us to where we are. On the border, we told him numerous times, sir, we need a foreign terrorist designation, FTO, right. and he did it for 2 organizations. All right. So he did it for the CARE and for the Muslim Brotherhood. But we told him, we told his staff, at least 8 or 9 other organizations that need to be squashed. And he picked the 2 that everybody was complaining about, because we're going into a primary. And it's typical for him, because now he's done it. This is his second time that I've watched him. I came back from active duty in 2015 when he became the governor. I liked him at first too. I'm like,
we all did. We're like, thank God.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Texas economy, because you do have a new Texas Stock Exchange that is being built right now in Dallas. I drove by it. It was a little bit behind, I guess, schedule on construction. Have you had a chance to talk to any of the folks that are involved in that, or how do you see that rolling into the entire economy of Texas? Where's that in level of importance for you?
Yeah, there is some importance to it, but the importance is that they moved it from New York for a reason, and this is my estimate. New York, as we can see, has fallen, if you will, to the very, very liberal and very dangerous policies, and in that system, I believe this is going to back it up. I mean, and then it's going to take it over, and this is going to be the stock exchange. So Texas has become the epicenter of attacks, and some of it, or focus, let's just say, not everything is an attack, but the focus, because when you look at how successful it is, because it's bringing in all of this technology, we're outrunning our headlights, so to speak, because we can't keep up with the safety aspects. Because as we know, in the future, the AI is going to try to control everything. And so when AI controls everything, and in the sense of decision-making processes, at that point, when is it okay to say, but you can go ahead and take the water out of the Ogallala? People don't need water out there. How do you maintain? I mean, I talked to cotton farmers out there. Texas was king in cotton for many, many, many years, and there are cotton farmers shutting down because they don't have enough water. We continue to spray the skies, chemicals in the ground. We can dry it for. We're in a severe drought right now, despite what happened during the Guadalupe. That was a pinpoint focus of water, but. But for us, I have to look down the road and say, how do I keep the citizens safe without outrunning the headlights? So coming in with a New York Stock Exchange into Dallas, it's already here. I can't do anything about it. Not that I would say not to, but we've got to look at the details, because the devil's always in the details, despite me thinking the devil's in Austin. But the devil's always in the details. We've got to know exactly what are the second and third order effects from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, of doing something like that. If the focus is not on the center of gravity, here's my little heart here on my chest, people, right?
Right.
Center of gravity needs to come off of the things that have price tags attached to it. And how do we best take care of the folks?
That's right.
Because in the periphery of Texas, that's why we're winning in the periphery right now. I mean, we're killing it in some counties, and these are straw polls and local polls, and that's the way I look at it. But you can't even I don't know who anybody just kick off your campaign in August essentially and make it to March the 3rd. Most other states are in July and middle of summer when they have their primaries, but that's the way it is here. And get any name recognition. So the fact that we're known, right? That's a huge plus for us. So either way, we're pushing the function. Look what he's doing. I mean, he's coming out with a lot of things that he should have done a long time ago. Now, my job is
due to the
to
pressure.
make sure.
That's your pressure, Doc. I believe that's the pressure you put on him that's forcing him into the light to do what's right. Maybe it may be optics or it may be legitimate, but he's actually moving his needle because of you. That should say a lot,
Right.
don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what people say all the time. They're like, seems like he does this every election. Somebody comes out and says something. Alan West was really the loudest one last time.
Yeah.
And he really pushed him to start doing things. The problem is writing the strongly worded letters once again.
Okay.
No authorities, no action. What it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
So have you had a chance to sit down and do a one-on-one or a debate with him?
So we did. We had 2 debates so far, and one of them was just another lady and myself, and she's actually friends with Greg Abbott, and she's a state board of education lady. And we had a great debate, and he didn't show up. And then the second one was Van Zandt County. Doc Collins and out of Van Zandt County put it together. You may know him, veterinary doc. And that was a great one. And we had a lot of people there. He was invited. He didn't show up. And I've gone onto one of the local Texas reporting. It's called Scorecard, and I went in there last night. And basically, I listened to a video of Abbott, and then I made my comments below and said, "Okay, well, this is my only way I can debate you. Thank you, Texas Scorecard, for allowing me to debate Greg Abbott, because everything he was talking about was security and Sharia law and H-1Bs, and I have the receipts, and he's completely obfuscating truth there."
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. So what is it you want to impart on the people of Texas? Why should they elect Doc Pete, somebody that they may or may not know, over somebody that they've known now for how long's Abbott been there? 8 years?
Yeah, 11 years.
11 years. Good Lord. Times. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. That's
You're
right.
going 12 at the end of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I get that question every time I speak somewhere. I'll be in Houston tonight. Somebody's going to ask me this, especially somebody that's sitting on the fence about Abbott. And I'll say this, the last one to ask me this, she's actually, after she heard me speak, said, "Okay, I'm with you, but I've lost a job." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "I'm on the Abbott campaign." I go, "Oh." She goes, "I'm coming on yours." I'm like, "Okay." So the answer was, when she asked me, "What are you going to do different?" I said, "No, well, I'm not going to lie to you for 11 years. Number one, right?
Okay.
Because I'm a term limit guy, number one. And number two is, if you can't do something, you don't say it. This is one of the first things I learned downrange as a Green Beret. When you're negotiating with somebody, you don't give up anything. You never give up anything, and you never ask for anything then everything. But you have to make sure that when you make a promise, you've got to follow up on it. That's just life. That's just a life lesson. So that's what I will do. So if I'm saying anything here, I'm going to put all my grit into doing every bit of that. And so that's and the other thing is I'm going to be transparent. So when you're watching TV in Texas, and we have what's called T-SPAN, and it's going to show up, and you're going to be watching T-SPAN, and you're watching me in the office with some lobbyist, and they're going to say, "Is that a camera on?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's a camera. What's up?" "Well, are we out live?" I said, "Yeah, all of Texas is watching you. What kind of deal did you have with Greg?" I mean, because it might have to change, right? I mean, we got to be transparent. Now, I'd said that in the very beginning, tongue in cheek, but my team is like, "You know what? We really need to do this T-SPAN thing." I'm like, "Sounds good to me."
Yeah.
And then fireside chats. We need to go back to fireside chats. When we're going down the road, we do it all the time. I just sit down and just pick up a X or a Facebook and just fireside chat with folks, and then
That's
answer
right.
questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're there to be the servant to the people. So why not be available to the people? Why put
Yeah.
up all kinds of smoke screens? I mean, I've never had a problem getting a hold of you. I don't think anybody I know has ever had problems getting a hold of you. Alex Stone, who I just spoke with, young Alex Stone, he's working with Pastor Dave Scarlett, as a matter of fact, right now. And he's like, I'd love to interview him. I said, I'll be sure to pass it on. So I'm passing it on right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you
I mean, that's the thing. We'll fit it in. Now we're getting busier, but that doesn't mean we're not going to fit it in. We'll make it happen. And
Yeah,
being
no,
busy is not a bad problem.
Class A problem, as they say, Doc Pete, Class A problem. All right. So and I know you're on the road and you took some time to pull over and talk to me right now. And I do appreciate that. But
Oh, yeah.
From where I'm sitting, Texas is so critical right now. And for some reason, it seems like Texas has been the focal point from the bad guys for a long time to infiltrate not only foreign, but California has spilled into your state because they can't stand their governor. And it's, Texas, I've said for a long time, Texas is purple. And people are like, oh, no, it's not. And I said, well, it's kind of purple. In the big cities, it really is. Out in the rural area where the real people are, not at all. It's bright red. But you get close to that city, it's pretty scary. And Soros has done a great job infiltrating at this local level. He's really done a masterful job. So if you were going to start an emergency cleanup on aisle of the three cities, Dallas, Houston, or San Antonio or Austin, where would you start? San Antonio, where would you start?
Yeah, I would start in Austin, like you were saying there. San Antonio they're malleable. We can work with them real easy. Houston, there are pockets. Houston is like 5 cities anyway. It's just got its pockets itself. And Dallas is Dallas-Fort Worth. Fort Worth is pretty red, although we did have a bad vote the other day on a lady. There was 20, 30, 40 years maybe since the last Democrat won. This is it's going to go to a runoff again. So we'll see what happens.
Stop 1 second. To what do you attribute that? Is that just apathy right now because the conservative base just or what is it?
Well, okay, yeah, you know what? That's got to be part of it. But I think that the pole position on that, the reason that I believe is because the kiss of death, we call it in Texas now. If Abbott endorses somebody, they end up with the kiss of death. And there's people that I like that are getting that. And as soon as they get the endorsement, you can see all the comments. Here they come. You just took the kiss of death. You can't be the guy that's the incumbent that nobody likes, give them an endorsement and expect the people to go, wait a minute, you just endorsed her? Well, we're not going to go with her. So that's what I believe. I'm seeing it because I'm watching it. I'm hearing it. Everybody's telling me, don't. I even said on that same thing, I commented, Abbott or Governor, please don't endorse me. I'm like, I don't want that because it's a problem set because you're attributing yourself to the establishment and people are tired of the establishment. There's only 2 kinds of people in politics in Texas on the red side. Bushies and Trumpies. Okay. The Bushies are still around. And Abbott is a Bushie, even though he'll kiss up to Trump, but he's a Bushie, no doubt. It goes all the way back to Dave Carney, his campaign. He was his manager, strategist, who's still around and it has been there since the Bushes, Perry, all the way down to Abbott now. So that guy's running that. That's their Karl Rovians, all those people. So we're getting away from that, and we're getting more onto even away from just we're getting more to a constitutionalist republic, constitutional republic. That's what we're getting to.
And are you going to restore the Republic of Texas?
Yeah, the Texas nationalist movement is 600,000 strong. All right. And so my intent is to do exactly what happened in the movie Gladiator. I don't know if you remember that one, but when he goes to the king, the general goes to the king and says, hey, I want to retire, which I wanted to do and go raise some cattle and then chase pedophiles. But when he says, the emperor says, but I want you to take the republic and give it back to the people. I'm going to give the Republic of Texas back to the people. Mark my words.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, hopefully you'll be as one of the biggest states in the union, leading that same diplomacy for the rest of the country. And I'm working county by county. I'm starting in Florida to basically stand up like we did in Collier County. If you remember the Bill of Rights Sanctuary County, I had some folks that I talked to last week. I want to do it in my county. We're going to help them do it in their county. We're going to try and just hit all 67 counties or what's left after that.
Yeah,
to get Bill of Rights. We got to put a wall up from the tyranny coming out of Tallahassee like we do out of DC. So
same thing in Austin. Yeah, it's and I'm sure that the Kylies are involved down there. So if they're watching Heidi, because they had me come across the state and it was great and got to just 30 seconds in a county commission meeting, but it was worth it because Collier took the lead. And you were there. and Collier, it's just dominoes. I mean, then the dominoes start falling because they see strength, and courage is contagious, just as fear is, but that is contagious. And so I'm glad y'all are doing that, because it's great to see.
Well, it's the only way to insulate yourselves from the demons in Tallahassee and the real district of corruption demons up in the swamp. So you've got to you got to put a wall up. You got to remind them, hey, my Bill of Rights trump all y'all's nonsense. Just back off.
The political power is inherent in the people. Article 1, Section 2 of the Bill of Rights. Right? That's what it is.
Revolutionary ideas. Holy cow. Who thought of that?
Right? Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Doc, listen, I know you got to get on the road. My best and love to you. And Lydia, I'm thrilled that you're running. You have obviously I hope everybody knows by now you have my endorsement. Sorry, I'm still getting over a really wicked.
Oh yeah, we did. We posted it and we keep bringing those back up. So thank you for doing that. It's
oh gosh, Doc, you're just you're a gem. You're literally a national treasure. You're Texas's treasure, and we should all be envious that we don't have a Doc Pete in all of our states. So hopefully we can replicate you into some action figures out there.
with a kung fu grip.
With a kung fu grip, exactly. All right, everybody. Doc Pete, the governor. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one. Bye. God, he's such a tremendous, tremendous man. I have had the honor of knowing him for years now, and met him during COVID. And I was like, who in the heck is this guy? Where did he come from? But he's the real deal. I work with him on down on the border in Operation Burning Edge out in North Carolina. We've crossed paths when I'm in Texas, and and when he comes to Florida. Speaking of Florida, Michael Yan called me the other day, and he said he might be in Florida in April. So I'll be seeing him. He'll be staying with me, and we'll be making some trips around the state to go see some great people like General Michael Flynn, and maybe some other trips across the country. But anyhow, Doc Pete, folks, really do support him. Go to docpetechambers.org, docpetechambers.org. It's scrolling below. And, he's, like I said, he won't take, anybody that's giving him more than $18.36. He's not going to be appointing them into any positions in his cabinet. So if you have any political ideologies, like trying to work with Doc Pete and the political side of things, don't donate more than that. But if you don't want to be in politics, send as much money as you can. How's that sound? You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for stopping by. And I think I'm on live again tomorrow. And then the rest of the week, I'm traveling. So sorry, I've been offline. I've been really sick, but I'm back now and headed back to Florida later this week. You guys have a great one. Thanks. Hi, I'm Ann Vandersteel. I want to talk to you a little bit about your health. Part of my daily routine is to get up in the morning and get a little exercise on. If I have time for a mile or 7, doesn't matter. I get out the door every single day. It's important to get my body moving and get that oxygen flowing through my brains. What is also equally important is what I put in my body after I exercise. I rely on VandersteelHealth.com, where I have a delicious selection of superfoods and other supplements. But first and foremost for me are my superfoods. I have a delicious shake every single day. It is organic, all made in the United States of America, non-GMO, never processed before, dehydrated superfoods. And when they reconstitute with water, milk, or whatever juice you like, it makes a delicious, healthy, plant-based protein supplement. And I say supplement because, frankly, I use this as a meal replacement. This is what's helped me lose the last 20 pounds of COVID. I'm back down to my fighting college weight, fitting in my college clothes, and feeling better than ever. So go to VandersteelHealth.com and get your delicious superfoods. Get on the transformation program with us. It's a 30-day kickoff, and it will get your day starting out great. And watch the weight just fall off. Watch the energy increase, the brain fog lift, and of course the ancillary benefits in your hair, skin, and nails. All these things, you are what you eat. Remember that. Go to VandersteelHealth.com.